guys. Um, Hold on just one second here. Let me. I'm still getting used to the StreamYard stuff, and something's on my glasses right now. So just one second. I cannot stand to have smears on my glasses. That just drives me absolutely crazy. Okay. Oh, that's a little better. Um, and I see Texas is backstage. He's in the green room, I think, as Wes likes to call it. I am going to add him in just a minute here. And now there's a daggone fruit fly flying around me. Every time I have my coffee drink back here, there's a daggone fruit fly. Um, so I would like to say that I did take the plunge, not the Nestea plunge or whatever that is, but I did take the plunge and got the $25 a month StreamYard. As you notice, or you may notice, my Dana on Deck logo is on here. And I'm not sure, but hopefully, when I add Texas on here in just a second, the background will show, because evidently the background doesn't show if I'm solo, but supposedly if I have a guest on here, the background will show back behind us. So we shall see. I've also added the Evil Dead background that I had on OBS. When I had to step away, I would bring up the Evil Dead background. So now I can bring that up again if I have to step away and you guys don't have to stare back here at this room and wait for me to come back. Um, so I don't know if I'm going to go up to the 40 something dollar a month thing. That may be later. And I'm getting tired of this daggone fruit fly swarming around me. Uh, it wasn't so bad like the last couple of nights that I did a stream, but now there's one that's back here that's just driving me crazy. So if I look a little irritated, that's why. Also, I am trying out free for 7 days the 1080p resolution for the video. So you guys can let me know if it looks better or worse or about the same. That might help me make a decision about whether I really want to go up to that next level or not. Because if it doesn't really make that much difference in the quality, I may just keep it at 720p. So you guys can let me know. Also, if it causes any problems when I have guests on here or a guest, um, be sure to let me know if you guys notice the stuff buffering or it being glitchy or anything like that, then definitely that will let me know that I need to stay with the 720p resolution. So I did get some kind of good news um, today. As I had said, maybe a stream or two ago, that my HR department had requested that I take some more reasonable accommodation paperwork to my primary care physician for the long COVID. Okay. They're still telling me this can't continue forever and ever, but I guess they're willing to see if these fevers go away in time. So they wanted me to take this paperwork to my doctor. Of course, I couldn't get in to see the doctor, so I just had to leave the paperwork there. I didn't hear anything, of course, today. I brought it over there Friday, but they close early on Friday, so I knew she wasn't going to look at it Friday. I don't even know if she was there when I was there. I didn't hear her. A lot of times you'll hear your doctor talking in the background and stuff like that. I didn't even hear. So, she may very well not been there Friday or not been there at the time that I was there, which was just after lunch, and they closed at 1 p.m. on Friday. So, um, my stomach's been in knots because I was like, she's not going to want to fill out this paperwork. It's been over a year since I've seen her. I kept trying to get in to see her, but the pandemic hit and nobody was answering the phone there. And I tried multiple times to make appointments. And especially when I got the long COVID, I wanted to go and, say, okay, look, this is what I've got. What can I do about this? Plus, a lot of these workplaces like you to have your primary care doctor or primary care physician fill out any paperwork that you might need, but they don't want people from the little clinic doing it. They want your doctor to do it. So evidently, she's filled it out because Steve contacted her through the portal, which he set up to use this portal, and he can contact her that way. And I think Brandon's walking around back there in the living room, so I'm hoping he doesn't have any accidents or anything while I'm trying to do this. So Steve contacted her and said, hey, my wife dropped off some ADA reasonable accommodations paperwork on Friday. Have you had a chance to look at it? And she was like, oh, I've already filled it out. And I told Steve, I said, well, there's a fax number, there's an email address, there's a mailing address, there's all that on the first page. I said, why hasn't she done something to get it to them? I mean, Steve said, well, if we have to, we'll go pick it up. So my stomach's a little less in knots now regarding that because I know she's filled it out. I just hope she was specific about stuff, because when they're vague, the HR department is like, they want to throw all that shit out. But I'm not going to go on and on about that. I just wanted to say that I'm a little more at ease now that I know that she has actually filled it out. It looks like we only got two people in here. Um, and that could very well be me in Texas for all I know. So um, I'm not sure where, I hope I haven't offended Dirk because he hasn't been in here for, I know Saturday night he was doing something with the other guys that he does things with, but I don't think, I mean, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think he's been in any of my streams lately. So, I was just a little concerned that I might have offended him somehow. Uh, Dirk, you're here. It's just, were your ears burning? Because I was just talking about you. I was afraid that maybe I had offended you. Uh, but you say Monday Night Football is on, Dana? Oh, sorry, sorry, Dirk. I'm not a football fan, unfortunately. So I don't tend to think about things like football. I do apologize, but you can multitask, can't you? So I'm getting ready to add Texas on here. If anybody comes in, uh, either in the next few minutes or even after we've already started the stream, or got into the meat of this stream, feel free to put in the chat that you want to join. Send me a private message in private chat if you don't want to like put it up here for everybody to see and say, hey, Dana, I'd like to join in live on the stream, and I will be glad to add you. I've had Texas and Darren in here. Now I've got two of those damn fruit flies flying around. I've had Texas and Darren in here. They were in here on one of the streams, actually the watch along. Um, and we had a really good time for the Evil Laugh watch along. Um, I think everybody pretty much enjoyed themselves from what I could tell. Darky said, "No, you haven't offended me. I've just been busy here lately." Well, I totally get that. I mean, I think we're all busy at one time or another. But just as long as I didn't offend anybody, I'm cool with that. I just, sometimes I catch myself going on at the mouth, and I think, oh man, I hope I didn't say anything to offend anybody, because that's the furthest thing that from the truth that I want to do. I don't want to project an image where I'm constantly offending people. So that is good to know. So, Dirk, you probably don't want to tonight, but if there's any time that you want to join in live on the stream, I'm not requiring anybody to be on camera. You can be audio only if you want. Um, but if you want to be on camera, that is perfectly fine as well. Now, Texas has already told me, unless he's gotten a camera between the last time and this time, said he didn't have a camera. So I said, that's fine. You can be audio only. I do not mind. Last night, I had old Curly Jaws on for a little bit, and that was fun too, as well. So I've since switching to StreamYard, I've had, some guests on here. I'm realizing really what Wes or CK said about, how easy it is just to click and invite people, basically. So with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and add Texas to the stream. Can you hear me, Texas?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, loud and clear. And I do see where we can see the background a little bit. I see a little sliver of it. I think probably if we had more people in here and it was in everybody's little screen was smaller, we would probably see it more. Oh, there we go. Um, you can see it a little bit more now. I just switched the layout. Like I said, I'm still getting used to the things in StreamYard, and so I'm just learning along the way. I just subscribed to a gal that does StreamYard, like tutorial videos on YouTube. So I'm gonna check all her stuff out and see what she can suggest and all that. So Texas, what's been going on with you since we did our watch along for Evil Laugh?
Well, uh, there's one thing. Well, I'll message you about it. I don't want to talk about it on air.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I mean, it's just kind of funny. You'll get a kick out of it, but it's nothing I want to say on air. If other people are, listening, that, I don't,
Right.
you know. But I did want to tell you, I got flabby thighs. So there's your
There
new,
you go.
name.
I love it. I love it. You got to keep coming up with new ones every time. So that's awesome. Um, so I did hear from Movie Junkie John. Um, he messaged me a little bit earlier today, and he said that he's got a new microphone and he may have a new webcam. And so he said he might like to join in on one of these streams at some point. And I said, "Well, you just let me know, John, and I'll have you on there, because like I'm really enjoying this stuff. When y'all stop wanting to be on the streams, it's gonna be sad for me, because I've kind of gotten used to having somebody on here now. Uh like old Curly Jaws, he was like, I thought he was a great addition last night to the stream. Um until he basically told me his phone died, and then he passed out. So that's where he went.
He was in a coma.
He was in one of those THC gummy comas, I think. Um, so, Dirk, you say that you will be joining the stream sometime as well. Well, anytime, Dirk, anytime you want to be on here, I will most certainly welcome you with open arms to the stream, as I have everybody else. I'm hoping to be able to get the Deadpit Boys on here, either together or separate or whatever they want to do. I mean, uh, Uncle Bill has been, he's been saying, when the hell are you going to have me on? And I'm like, I'll have you on anytime you want to be on. So hopefully I can get one or the other or both on here with me at some point in time. Um, Derek, you say you appreciate it. Well, yeah. I mean, this is a, right now, and it probably will remain a hobby for me. This is just a fun little hobby I like doing, and I'm not one of those elitist people that only want certain people on here. Heck, I'll have everybody in here. I'll have as many people as I can fit in here. And I think with the plan that I've got now, you can have 10 people on the stream at one time. So that means I could have 9 other people on here with me. And I do apologize if anybody hears Brandon whining back there. He's probably going to start barking. And if he does, Steve's already went to sleep for the night. So I'll probably have to go take care of Brandon, get him corralled a little bit and calm down. But did want to ask you, Texas, have you watched anything here recently that you'd want to bring up and talk about?
Uh, Bliss and I last night watched that first episode of the 101 Scariest Moments on Shutter, and
Oh,
that
yes.
was really good. Actually, she loved it. She's just learning a lot of new things, and she thought that it was really amazing. Hopefully, she'll pop in at some point. She said she would, so I hope
Well,
so.
yeah, I'd be glad to have her. And if she ever wants to be on here live, you know, she's more than welcome to be on here live too. But I know there, I've been talking to like CK about certain women that he should have on, because he was asking me for suggestions. And some of the people I mentioned, he said, well, this person's shy. I'm like, are you kidding me? They won't get on the stream. They won't even do audio only. Like, I always thought I was the most shy person in the whole world. There was a time period, and I've said this before, where I wouldn't even show myself on camera, very little. When I first started doing YouTube videos, I did not want to be seen on camera. And I still, I just don't think about it now. I'm not really sitting there staring at myself. I'm paying attention to what's going on in the chat, or if we're doing a watch along, I'm watching the movie. So I'm just basically up here blabbing. But the reason why I like to be on video now is I think it makes these streams more personable. If at least one person is on the video where people can see them and everything. Um, so that's basically why I do it now, not because I think I'm drop dead gorgeous and you guys all like to look at me. No, that's totally not it.
Cut
But
it out, Jesus.
Texas is going to get on me. He's going to say, stop that. Let's see what Dirk said here. Dirk says, I did reserve judgment for Nope, and that shit sucked. And I did watch it twice. Worst Peel movie yet. Um, Dirk, I'm glad you brought that up because actually I did not dislike that one as well as I did Us. I hated Us. Get Out was decent. I hated Us. And although I didn't love Nope, and I don't really anticipate myself sitting down and watching it again anytime soon. It was okay. I just didn't absolutely hate it, but I didn't just love it so much that I wanted to go turn around and watch it again or anything. Um, hey, TJ, you say hi, Dana, and the head of Leatherface. Kidding, Texas. Hi, chat. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Hey, Menelect. Menelect says hello. Oh man, TJ's eating blueberry out of the box. That means it's time for those monster cereals. I'm gonna get me some Count Chocula. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of those the other day when I went grocery shopping, but I already have a couple of boxes of Cocoa Puffs I need to go through. Oh boy, and now Jimmy's calling me. Hold on a sec.
Jimmy.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yellow.
Middle, like you say,
Hey,
note didn't
Dana,
suck.
I'm on there.
I didn't feel that
Okay.
it sucked, Menelect,
Okay.
but it still wasn't like I said, I don't want to run back out there and rewatch
All right,
it.
I'm back.
Is Jimmy gonna be watching Texas?
Yeah, I hope so. I told him to tune in and stuff.
So do you since TJ mentioned eating blueberry out of the box, Texas, do you have a favorite of the monster cereals?
I like Count Chocula and pretty much all of them, even Fruit Brute.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Fruit Brute. That's like I always think of that as like the Scott Spiegel cereal, Sam Raimi's buddy, because like some of those early films that Scott Spiegel did, for instance, like Intruder, you clearly see Fruit Brute in that grocery store. Um, so I'd totally forgotten about that till you mentioned it. Um, so TJ's saying that the monster cereals are at Target. They changed the cereal box design of the monsters. Oh well, so I'm gonna have Steve take me to Target then. Maybe he can take me this weekend. Um, and I'll see if I can't get some. And I've already got my mellow cream pumpkins. I love those damn mellow cream pumpkins. I love those more than candy corn. And some people might think that's sacrilege, but man, do I love those pumpkins. They are so good, but they're loaded with sugar. It's the only thing, and so I either have to wait until my blood sugar drops to eat several of them, or just kind of sneak one here and there because I don't want to shoot my blood sugar way up. The many dangers of having diabetes. So, um, anyway, I didn't know for sure if I was going to do a stream tonight, even um, because last night, when I was doing the stream, it was just like when I was doing the watch along with Texas and Darren. I felt great or decent whenever I was doing the stream, but when I got ready to head back, excuse me, to the living room, I was aching all over. The fever spiked again. It's just like a vicious cycle, and I was just feeling so bad. And I did the same thing last night. So I'm hoping that maybe I don't have another round of that after I'm done because it's like I love these streams so much. I love doing them. But since the COVID, everything wears me out. Even the little things and enjoyable things that I like doing will wear me out. And you probably wonder how can sitting back here at a computer doing these streams wear you out. Um, I wouldn't have thought it was possible until I got the COVID the last time, and it caused me to. And Brandon's starting to bark. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm not going to put the background up because I'm almost afraid that I might kick Texas out of here if I do that. Because I'm still, I'm going to have to practice some of these things in StreamYard and make sure it doesn't backfire on me. But I'm going to give Brandon his medication. And Texas, you can take over the helm and entertain people if you want to till I get back.
I'll give it a shot, I guess. Does anyone know any good jokes? I don't know. Hey, old Curly Jaws. Glad to see you got out of your coma, brother. We thought you were dead last night. It was good to see you, though, man, last night. I thought it was great. And there were a couple of times we thought you were frozen, and then you were there. And like, you just kind of was like, wait, I think he's gone. She's like, I think he's gone. And it's like, yeah, he's in a coma. So, but there you are. Good to see you back, that you're alive. Well, this is real awkward. Hey, Uncle Bill, how are you, brother?
Oh, well, what do you know? It's Uncle Bill again. And Red, old Curly Jaws. Man, this place is filling up now. We got 10 people in here. Hi. Hey, Uncle Bill's telling me to get my shit together.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, man, I got to take care of my dog. He's an old man. He's like over 15 years old, so give me a break here. Red, you say Strawberry Estates is probably the worst horror film that I've ever seen. I cannot say that I've ever seen Strawberry Estates. Have you seen it, Texas?
No, I have no clue what that one is.
But maybe we should stay away from it if Red's saying it's probably the worst horror film he's ever seen. TJ says, celebrity in the chat, Uncle Rad. It's like, I don't know why, but every time somebody calls him Uncle Rad now, it makes me laugh. I just can't help it. It's like people have been saying that when I guess most of the time when Garrett's on there with the Dead Pit Boys and Uncle Bill is wearing his I guess his Rad Pack attire or whatever. Hey, Blissful. I love Blissful's icon. I love anything with peace signs on it. Let's see. Oh, Curly Jaws, are you want? I'm kind of worried about your emojis there, oh Curly Jaws. But yeah, if you want to be on here, hold on just 1 second here.
Don't want to, hopefully he doesn't go into a coma,
If he drops out, we'll know what happened here. Let's see. Oh, Curly Jaws, I'm sending you the link right now. Okay. So when I see you down here, I'll add you because as I was saying earlier, I can now have 9 other people plus me in the chat because I'm moving on up like the Jeffersons. Let's see. Oops. Okay, so Uncle Bill, you're saying the fans come first, Nana? Like my fans? I don't even call. I don't think I'm big enough to have fans. I have friends that like to be on here with me, but I can't call them fans. Um, I haven't reached dead pit status yet, Uncle Bill. So let's see. Let's see. TJ, you say, by the way, I have a vid of me eating a whole box of blueberry in under 12 minutes. I'd be throwing up if I did that. You have it on your channel if anybody wants to watch and has no life, huh? Um, TJ, I'll probably try to check that out. There's old Curly Jaws. Let's see if we can. Hey, old Curly Jaws. Yeah, I didn't know where you went last night. I was like, I didn't even think about your phone dying.
Yeah, my phone died, and I'm like, and I ended up passing out. So I'm like, yeah.
Let's see. Uncle Bill saying, "Who's Uncle Rad?" Well, I thought that was you, Uncle Bill. And then he's saying, "Oh shit." I don't know if he's saying that about old Curly Jaws or what he's saying the oh shit about. Okay, and no, Dirk, I have not seen The Untamed, a Spanish sex horror. No, I I need to ask Steve about that. That sounds like that's right up Steve's alley. He's probably seen that one.
I think that was on Shutter, I believe, but I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't know if it's still on there.
Are you and Steve gonna go see Jeepers Creepers 4 in the theater?
Probably not. Oh, Curly Jaws, probably not. I'm trying to think. We've been talking about different things. I mean, definitely we're planning on going to see Dawn of the Dead in 3D. We're just gonna go across the river in New Albany just so we can see that.
That movie. I mean, hey, you're coming to my neck of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
But for a shitty movie, though.
You should meet us over there. You should just lower yourself to watch that movie, oh Curly Jaws.
When's it coming back in the theaters?
I know it's Halloween week or Halloween weekend or whatever.
Well, let me know the day and I'll meet y'all there.
Okay. I maybe could tell you now if I can get that up on my phone here. Hold on just 1 second here.
It couldn't be the remake at least. It has to be the original.
Yeah, but that's what's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's playing over at the Regal Cinema over in New Albany. Okay, hold on here. And I'm thinking we're probably going to see the 7:15 p.m. showing. And it's going to be, I guess, Friday, October 28th is when we're going to go.
All right.
And they do have reserved stadium seating. So keep that in mind. You want to, you might want to get seats around us or something like that. So I haven't actually bought the tickets yet, but I'm planning to really soon because I don't know. I just have a fear that they're going to sell out of tickets to things like that. But, when we went to see Jaws and I messed up and we didn't get to see the original Jaws movie in 3D, but it was still awesome. I still like watching it on the big screen, but there weren't a lot of people in there when we went to see it. So I don't know if Dawn of the Dead's going to be similar or it's going to be packed. I really can't.
You need to see if CK and Uncle Bill will go.
Well, I think, well, I know Uncle Bill is going, and I think he wants
Sweet.
to get together with CK, but I think they're going to Lexington
Oh,
because
see, they're fucking up. They need to come here. They need to
well,
be with Curly Jaws. That'd be a fucking that'd be hilarious.
Uncle Bill asked me why we weren't coming to Lexington. I said because New Albany's closer to us. Steve ain't gonna drive all that way just to see Dawn of the Dead in 3D.
You
So let's see here.
you need to be like Uncle Bill and CK. You all got we got old Curly Jaws coming now. Now you definitely got to come to this side.
Yeah, you hear that, Uncle Bill? Oh, Curly Jaws is coming. So
I'm gonna put myself through this shitty movie.
TJ says, looked up Strawberry Estates, but there's not even a wiki page on it. That says a lot. It actually does. And TJ says that he likes your green hair and red beard look, oh, Curly Jaws. So
Oh, thanks,
you're
buddy.
making a statement there. Brandon is in the house. He says,
Thanks, up,
howdy.
Brandon.
And Dirk says that Untamed movie is on Shudder. And Dirk also says, me and Brad have a review up on his new channel, 4K Tent Revival. Oh, that's right. They were going to do the 4K Tent Revival. Brandon says, Dawn of the Dead is great, but why in 3D makes no sense. I don't really know why they chose to put it out in 3D.
Yeah, especially what 3D hasn't been relevant in like since the early tens, I think. So I'm surprised they're doing this 3D again.
Mm-hmm. And and I think I heard somebody else or more than one person say this actually that Dawn of the Dead was not made in 3D originally, so there's not really 3D aspects to that movie. So people were saying, well, why put it out in 3D when you're not really going to get the full effect of anything? You're not going to have things really sticking out and things like that. But 3D has changed over the years. It used to be about sticking things out of the screen and titles coming out of the screen. And now I have noticed in the last several years, every time they have a new revival of 3D, the 3D seems to become more immersive. Like the stuff is surrounding you instead of sticking out of the screen. And I guess that's more what they're going for. Texas, what do you think of the whole, like the intermittent 3D revivals?
It's kind of odd because it's like it'd come out and then it's kind of disappeared, and now they're doing it again. And I'd still like to see Dawn of the Dead in 3D because it's one of my favorite movies. I don't know, like there's probably no perspective on it or anything, but I'd take Bliss to see it because she hasn't ever seen it. So
yeah, that'll be an experience for her, definitely. So let's see. And guys, I'm trying not to miss. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat tonight for which I'm excited about, but I just don't want to miss anybody's stuff here. So I'm trying to put like these big things up. Like TJ says, I saw the 3D Dawn and Dead trailer when I went to the Jaws re-release. The movie 3D didn't look that great. Maybe it's better in the actual movie. So I hope so. I hope so. What? Uncle Bill's saying, look, buddy, I don't know who he's talking if he's talking to me or one of you guys. TJ says, seems Rubenstein wants to gatekeep the OG version of Dawn. Oh, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. Blissful says, I'm learning horror 101. Yeah, It's a trial by fire, Blissful, when you're dealing with this crowd. Let me tell you.
Hey Dana, could you post your Etsy link for her in the room, because I thought I had it, but I don't have it, and she
Yeah,
wants it.
let me see if I can shoot. Hold on just a second. I tell you what, I'm so halfway out of it. I think part of it's the long COVID, and part of it is just me being crazy. But I was trying to find, because I don't want to give her. I don't want to give her the bad link. So because there were some of those links that people said, I went to Etsy and I couldn't find your store. I couldn't find the Morbid Beauty Boutique. So I don't know if that's gonna. That looks like a hell of a link, but we'll let her try that. If that doesn't work, I'll try to get it to her another way, because I don't know what it's doing there. Hold on just a second, because that's weird. That wasn't exactly what I wanted it to do here. Huh, that's strange. I'm hoping they didn't take my thing down. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Texas, I'll try to get that to her at some point, even if I have to put all these links back in the description for one of these. I'll get it to her, or I'll send you the link, because I'm not sure what's going on with it right now.
I'm gonna sign into my Etsy and see if I can get it to her that way.
Because I mean, I don't think I got anything saying they were going to take my page down for any reason, but let me try it this way.
Yeah, it's up there. I'll try to send it to her.
Oh yeah, it's still there. I can go ahead and put it in the chat too for anybody that.
Actually, okay. If you've got it, I can put it in too if you want me to.
I think that should get her directly to the Etsy shop. That last link I put in there.
Yeah, let me know if it works. If it doesn't, I'll put it in there.
I wonder if I can. No, I'm not going to put myself in timeout. I thought maybe I could do both things. It was like ban user and put user in timeout. No, I'm the main person in this. Like, I'm heading up this stream. I can't do that. Brandon, you say Piranha 3D. The 3D was amazing, especially the women swimming. It was very artistic. I did see Piranha 3D with my cousin.
I saw that in the theater too, in 3D. That was a good experience.
Mm-hmm. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Me and my cousin Heather had a ton of fun doing that. And then
did you ever watch
after the movie, we went to Olive Garden and stuffed ourselves too. So
did you watch the sequel to that Piranha movie?
I did not. I didn't watch the sequel.
Watch it. It's really good.
Is it fun too?
It's in my opinion, it's better than the first one. It was really fun.
Evidently, Blissful's Christmas shopping. Maybe she'll get something for Texas. Although I know he's already bought some things from my Etsy shop, so I've got to get the goddamn Bob stickers and goddamn Bob shirts up so that Texas can partake of those too. Um, let's see here. Oh, well, I'm guessing Blissful um found it. She said it works. Oh my god, I love your shop. Well, thank you. TJ, you say I'm stumped thinking of a horror movie I actually hate.
I can name a few.
Yeah, I usually don't have a problem like telling you ones that I hate. Um, but that's a good segue into the topic of discussion for this. And Texas, you feel free to jump in at any time and talk about movies that you have in your collection that you feel like everybody hates but you.
All right.
And old Curly Jaws, you can do the same thing. Um, I've got 5 that I was going to talk about tonight, and I bet you guys already know what at least one of them is going to be because it's one that I always debate with CK and Uncle Bill all the time.
I know what it is.
They make fun of me relentlessly for liking this movie, and I'm going to save it for last. Um,
Now,
Dirk says,
now, are these movies that we own that everybody hates but we love, or
well, yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I just pulled 5 of them off of my DVD and Blu-ray shelf that it seems like I'm the only person that likes them. Some of them Steve hates a lot, and others I've heard several people say that they hate them, or Uncle Bill has told me one of these I'm going to talk about. It's like watching old people eat, um, which I'm assuming he means it's very boring. So Dirk says the Blair bitch snot nose flashlight. So I take it that Dirk does not like the Blair Witch Project.
I love me the first, well, at least the first one, in the first second one, I like when the player went.
So Brandon's saying I didn't hate Men. Oh my gosh, I didn't even sit down and watch Men, but Steve was watching it, and I walked through the living room a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. I was like, "Holy shit, what are you watching?" Because I was like trying to figure out what in the heck this movie was, and he's like, "Oh, it's that movie Man." I was like, "Yeah, I don't think that I'll be sitting down and watching this one anytime soon."
Oh, I thought Men was hilarious. I
Well,
couldn't.
Steve laughed at it some, but I don't know. I guess maybe at some point I'll give it a chance. But Brandon says he didn't hate Men, but my God, my theater laughed it off the screen, and the old people in the cinema were confused. I'm surprised there were old people in there. Um, like how old are we talking about, Brandon? Are we talking about like 70-year-old people, or we talking about old people like I consider myself old now at 46? So let's see. Blissful says the snot shot really got to me. Yeah, that humongous snot bubble. Oh, it's pretty nasty. Dirk says I hate the Blair bitch with a passion. Brandon's saying I guess there were grandmas. Were there grandpas too in the audience? Brandon, like technically, me and Steve both could be like grandma and grandpa, because if we had kids, in our younger days, um, we could have had some grandkids now, but I guess that wasn't meant to be, because I was in my mid 30s when me and Steve got married, and Steve was in his late, well, maybe not late, but like mid 40s. There's like 7 years difference between me and Steve. So we got together kind of late in life. So I don't think the kid thing is going to happen for us, unfortunately. But we've got 5 fur babies, so that more than makes up for it. I think. Brandon said old folks were in X too. I'm trying to remember if there were a lot of older people in X when we went to see it, and I don't recall there really being any, but I know we went to see, gosh, and I can't remember the title of it now. It's been a few years back. We went to see one of those movies that had a lot of the Saturday Night Live people in it. And it was really, I thought it was funny, but it was raunchy and vulgar in some parts. And there was this little old lady in there that looked like she was 80 or 90 years old. I kid you not. And she was in here in this movie with a couple of ladies that maybe were family members because they looked, quite a bit younger than this lady was. So I leaned over to Steve and I was like, I can't believe that old woman is in this movie. I don't think she's gonna like this movie very much. Um, Durkee say hagploitation at its finest, bumping uglies at Brandon.
I actually just rewatched X today with this friend of mine, Joe. He came by for a visit, and
Uh-huh.
he's like, "What was that movie you wanted me to see?" And I go, "What, X?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Yep, there it is.
So we watched that, and it's weird. They actually, in the theater they had that trailer for Pearl at the end, but
Mm-hmm.
they cut that off the Blu-ray for some reason. It wasn't in the.
Oh,
It was
huh.
weird. Because I told him, I
Well,
go, well, you got to stay and watch this, And then he's like, what do you want me to watch? And I go, those bastards, they took it off.
that's how I felt when me and Steve went to I believe it's the Skyline Drive-In up in Indiana. I don't know if Old Curly Jaws is familiar with the Skyline Drive-In. I think it's
Oh
more
no.
up in northern Indiana, like a little bit further up there than like going to New Albany or something like that. Um, but we went there a couple of times, and the first time we went, they were showing several different movies. I think they showed The Evil Dead. They showed City of the Living Dead or The Gates of Hell. And I'm trying to remember. I think there was one or two more, but I was really excited about getting to at a drive-in because that's where my parents saw it for the first time. And this is the movie that I've talked about more than once that my dad talked about for years. And I thought, man, I'm missing out on the greatest horror movie ever made because my dad said there were flying maggots and a guy getting his head drilled and all of this stuff. And so when I finally got to watch, of course, it was on a VHS, but I was so excited to be able to finally go to a drive-in and see it on the big screen, like my parents got to see it for the first time. So there was another friend of ours that was there, like just in the parking spot just over from us. It was a coincidence that he ended up parked right beside us. And so it got to the scene where it should have been where the character of Bob gets his head drilled. And I was so excited. I've been waiting for this scene. And the scene was missing from this print, evidently, because they showed the same scene of the car pulling up in front of the house twice instead of us
Oh,
getting to see the scene of Bob getting his head drilled. And like our buddy kind of leaned out his window and he shouted over to me and he's like, "What the fuck was that? Where where is the Bob head drill scene?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "That makes me mad." So I totally get that, you being kind of perturbed when they don't include something. Um, I just assumed all the prints of the Gates of Hell had the Bob head drill scene. I don't know why it was missing out of this particular print. Did somebody just cut that out? They wanted to keep it for themselves, or what was the deal there? But it was evidently missing. Uh, so let's see. TJ says, I don't hate the Elm Street remake, but it was unnecessary, and that CGI was oof. The lead actress literally slept through her performance. Freddie mumbles, oh, wait, maybe I do. LOL. Uh, I did hate the Elm Street remake. I actually paid to see that piece of crap. And, and piece of crap is my opinion. If any of you guys in here liked it,
I loved it.
I like it.
and I kid old Curly Jaws about this stuff, and he'll kid me about stuff. It's just good natured banter back and forth. I don't expect anybody to take it seriously. If I call something a piece of crap and you love it, that's cool. If I love something and you guys say it's a piece of crap, that's cool with me too. So Dirk says, I'm ready for Pearl. I'm hearing good things. I actually haven't heard anything about Pearl as far as like hearing good things, bad things, whatever, but I do want to see it though. Let's see. Brandon says X was the only A24 film my Lewis liked. He says A24 artsy fartsy. Well, most of the A24 films for me, I just assume stick them in a toilet somewhere and never see them again. But X I liked, and was that movie The Void? Was that an A24 film, or was that one of the others? One of those other companies. I just can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember offhand.
Because I did like The Void. I thought it was good. Dirk, you say Jackie Earl Haley is not a bad actor. He was just miscast as Freddy. I totally agree with that because there's a lot of other movies that I love Jackie Earl Haley in it. But he was definitely miscast in my opinion, and evidently in Dirk's opinion as Freddy. Dirk says Kevin Bacon will make a good Freddy. I'm trying to envision that. Blissful says Freddy Footloose. Yep. He could be Freddy, and he could be doing that dancing that Kevin Bacon did in Footloose. That would be hilarious. Brandon, you say Elm Street remake awful. If they make a new one, they should hire Willem Dafoe as Fred.
He would actually be pretty good too.
Yeah, he could probably pull it off. Red, you said The Child, Kathy's Curse, and Bad Ronald. I'm guessing you're saying those are bad movies, Red. Now, I love Bad Ronald. I don't have that in my stack tonight to talk about, but I always did love Bad Ronald. Kathy's Curse and The Child, they're okay. There's House of a Thousand Corpses. Is that
Everybody
a 4K?
Oh, no, this is just a DVD.
Oh, just DVD.
But everybody likes the shit on the House of a Thousand Corpses. I like it.
I love the and people will probably laugh, but the intercutting in the on the DVD menus where they were talking about, they kept saying Tiny fucked a stump like over and over again. You remember that old Curly Jaws?
Yeah.
And then where he's like, well, shit the bed.
They got really creative with those DVD menus. I love that.
They didn't put that though, like on the Blu-ray, which I thought sucked because I wish they would have done that. But I still have my DVD, so it doesn't matter.
I'm thinking I have my DVDs somewhere too, probably in the back room. Look at old Curly Jaws. Look at that. Just look at that.
A movie a lot of people like to shit on, and I don't understand why. This movie's a classic. I don't get it. This movie's great.
Just don't ask me about it, old Curly Jaws.
It's like I cannot. If somebody say I want you to name one thing bad about this movie, I can't find nothing wrong with it. It's a perfect movie.
Well, there's movies that I say are perfect or nearly perfect that people, like I always say it, people look at me like I got up and put my clothes on sideways. So,
It's
you know,
I mean, Tyler Mane is Michael Myers, in my opinion, the best Michael Myers to ever don the mask.
like I tell you what, we need to let you do, or Curly Jaws. We need to let you do a rainbow rafts or rainbow style rant. You know Rambo, right? Oh, Curly
Oh
Jaws.
yeah, I love Matt. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Rambo. He's a good buddy of
Matt's
mine.
great.
Yeah.
But we need to let you just do that one night, just a rant on why that movie is so great. And we just let you talk until you can't talk anymore about it.
Oh, what, the Rob Zombie Halloween movie?
Yeah.
I mean, I will defend this movie till I'm purple in the face. Like, I mean, it's this easily could have started a new franchise. Like, they could have made Rob Zombie could have made at least 50 more of these movies. I would have been happy.
Mm-hmm. Hey, John. John's in here. He says, "Hey, y'all. How's everyone? Trying to find food and driving here." Yeah. What are you in the mood for, John? Because Steve always asks me, especially over the weekend. A lot of times he'll say, "You want to order something? There's Black Devil Doll. Daggone."
Now, this is a classic.
But Steve will ask me, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, I don't know. Just don't get me McDonald's and don't get me White Castle. Other than that, I'm pretty flexible. I hate White Castle. Does anybody else hate White Castle?
How do you hate White Castle? What's wrong with you? White.
Like, I'll tell you, Curly Jaws, there's only so many of them damn sliders you can eat.
I see. I always get the chicken rings, so.
Okay. Well, that might be a little bit better.
Yeah, like they just started releasing the chicken rings in the frozen bags, and I'm like, I've been buying those like every week.
Now, Steve, I love my husband, but back when we were dating, he took me to a Dragon Gate wrestling show, which was awesome. We went up to, I think, Indy to see it. But where does he take me to eat before the wrestling show? Freaking White Castle. It's like, why do you take your date to White Castle? Come on.
Hey, if somebody took me to White Castle, I'd be happy. I'm like, hey, that works for me. I love White Castle, so.
So Brandon's saying the autocorrect is awful on here. Well, yeah, I mean, autocorrect is awful on everything. And oh my gosh, he's got Hostel and Hostel 2.
Hostel 2 was even better than Hostel 1.
Okay. I will say that I have mellowed over time about Eli Roth. And I did like Cabin Fever when I watched it. But I still don't like Hostel, and I definitely don't like Hostel 2. I think those are piece of shit movies.
Wow.
I do. I hate them. Like, it's the biggest. I know definitely Hostel, in my opinion, is an excuse just to show naked women every 5 seconds getting, having sex and stuff like that. And I hated those guys. I wanted somebody to come and kill every one of those main guys in this movie because they were the biggest assholes I have ever seen in a film, I believe.
look, listen now. Hostel is great.
And it's okay that you like it, oh Curly Jaws, but I just cannot. I saw Cabin Fever, and then I knew that Hostel was going to be a little bit more gritty and in your
Brutal.
face and stuff like that. But I had no idea that they were going to spend so much time following these jerks around, going in and out of like, I don't know, what would you call it? Like, it wasn't porn stuff, but it was like peep show type stuff. It was like, what in the world? Why do you got to have this in there? And I'm not a prude by any stretch of the imagination. Now, My Bloody Valentine 3D is okay. I don't hate that movie. I do not hate it. But
I love it.
I would still rather watch the original My Bloody Valentine. That's my, as people say, that's my jam right there. I love the original
Well, I
My Bloody
mean,
Valentine.
the original one doesn't have a naked midget in it, so this one definitely is the superior film.
So Jay is telling me The Void wasn't A24. I'm guessing that was one of those other studios, and I'm totally forgetting the name. And Jay hated X.
I loved X. X. Me and my brother went to go see X. We laughed our asses off. This was probably one of the best comedy of the year.
Comedy?
I loved it. I say it's I laughed. We laughed our asses off. And I would say I don't. And I kind of wish it'd get a sequel, even though we all know the ending. Kind of like, how would you do a sequel? They could figure it out. Like, fuck, Pearl comes back like Jason or some shit. I don't fucking know. Fucking who gives a fuck? I thought this was like, or maybe the alligator can be the villain in the sequel. Who fucking knows? Maybe the alligator
There you
becomes
go.
like the alligator becomes like Pearl controls the alligator's mind. Like her soul gets put into the alligator, and the alligator starts killing people with a chainsaw. That could be the sequel.
Okay.
Fuck.
I've come to the conclusion that somebody needs to invest in old Curly Jaws, get him a movie camera, get him, some sets and some actors and actresses, and let him go at it, because I would love to see what he do.
He did a trailer for Texas Chainsaw in Space. I keep telling him, he needs to get the script written. He wants to get Ken Foray to play Leatherface, finally, like a black Leatherface. So I mean, I'm totally into it. I mean, if I had a couple of mil, I'd invest in it, and stuff. As long as he got the script, written and whatnot. And we got to get that little vixen, your what's her name, Kitten or whatever. We'd get her in there too.
Definitely. And like, I'd get Jenny Ortega to be in it.
There you go.
And Mia
I wonder
Goth.
how much she'd want to be in your movie. Like, how much money would she want? I wonder.
I'll be like, how much did you get for X? That's how much you're getting.
So John says he could see them hiring the It actor as Freddy.
Yeah,
I could see
that.
Yeah, I could see that guy doing it. And TJ, you say Robert Englund said he would want Bacon as Freddy. It's been in the news recently. I guess I missed that. I guess I didn't see that, but that would be interesting as well.
For me, I like whoever played Otis. The guy that played Otis, I like to see as Freddy.
That's interesting too. It's like, are you talking about oh shoot. See, there goes my brain again. I am losing it, guys. I'll think about it here in a minute. So, Brandon, you say movies like Bad Ronald and The Evictors gave me nightmares. Hey, I'm glad you brought up Evictors. I don't know, Texas, have you seen Evictors? Oh, Curly Jaws, have you seen it? The Evictors was a movie done by the guy that did Legend of Boggy Creek. And although I enjoy Legend of Boggy Creek, Steve loves that movie. He can't get enough of that movie. But the same guy did Evictors, and that movie is creepy as shit. I would highly recommend you try seeking that one out. It may even be on YouTube. I'm not really sure. I think if anybody has the Legend of Boggy Creek, like a Blu-ray, it may be included on the Blu-ray actually. Um, Although it didn't give me nightmares, but it did give me cold chills. Just the whole setup, the way the movie was designed, and all of that, and it really focused on. I wouldn't say jump scares necessarily, but things that in the daylight you wouldn't normally think was scary. But you sit in a dark room and you watch something like The Evictors, and you start to feel a little uneasy. Uh, so, Dirk, you say House of a Thousand Corpses is Rob Zombie's masterpiece. I would much rather, Dirk, watch something like House of a Thousand Corpses than watch like Halloween. I would much rather watch one of Rob Zombie's early um, works that he created. Not him trying to rehash what somebody else has done. But then now his stuff, like, I didn't like Lords of Salem. I didn't like 31. Um, and I don't know what happened because the early stuff, the House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, stuff like that was cool and inventive and sadistic and all those things wrapped up into one. And I think Rob Zombie does have a flair for making movies like that, but I don't know what happened with like Lords of Salem and 31 and stuff like that. I just did not. I I couldn't get into them.
I like 31, but uh Lords of Salem. Oh my god. Whew.
Lords of Salem fucking sucked.
See how Curly Jones is agreeing with me on that.
I love every Rob Zombie movie except for Lords of Salem. That movie is unwatchable. I tried watching it a few months ago. I couldn't finish it. It's fucking unwatchable, and it's sad because I love Rob Zombie, and for him to make an unwatchable film it's crazy to me.
I get what he was trying to do to make, like a Euro horror movie, kind of like a Ken Russell film, but he's just not that credible to do something like that, in my opinion.
No, everybody hated 31. I loved 31. I thought 31 was really good.
I liked it too.
A lot of people shit on 31. With the cartoon movie, The World of El Super Beasto, that was a very great film. And Dana, I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not seen that one.
I recommend it. It's an animated film by Rob Zombie, and it's like the art, the animation's like Disney, but Disney mixed with Rob Zombie. It's amazing. Go check it out.
That sounds interesting, actually. When you said Disney mixed with Rob Zombie, there's something that, like, in my brain, it just went ding. It's like, I want to watch that.
It's good. It's very, like, they got, like, some famous voice actors. They also got, like, of course, Sharon Moon Zombies in it. They're, like, it's fun. It's a fun movie. And House of a Thousand Corpses, I love. Devil's Rejects, I love. Even Three from Hell. A lot of people shit on Three from Hell. I got every edition of Three from Hell that came out because I love that movie.
I didn't hate Three from Hell, but I just felt like it was quite a bit weaker than the two previous films, House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
I mean, I could see that. It's Sid Haig's swan song. Like, I think it's his last movie officially. Which, watching it, and you could tell when you watch, you could tell he's very sick. He's very frail.
Yeah, and
Um,
that always bums me out it's like when the Twin Peaks stuff was continuing, when David Lynch brought some more Twin Peaks shows out. Uh, when is it Miguel Ferrer? Is that his name? I
Yeah,
believe
I think
that
so. Yeah.
he was very sick with cancer at the time that those shows were being filmed, and now when I go back and if I go back and watch those, it's like, man,
and you
it's
know
just
what's
hard.
like? I didn't even know. I didn't even know he was sick until I saw the film, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I mean, I was surprised he was able to do what he was able to do. Like that scene alone, you could tell he was passionate in that scene, but you could tell he was on his last leg.
Yeah. And it
But
it's just and it too something else that's sad to me is like I was super bummed out when I found out Wes Craven had passed away. And this has been like years ago now. But I find it hard because these guys were my heroes. Wes Craven, uh, Sean Cunningham, John Carpenter, Sam Raimi, Toby Hooper, all those guys. Those were the guys I grew up watching, and now very few of them are left. George Romero, it seemed like they almost went all at one time. In my mind, it felt like all my heroes are dying. So the first time I listened to a Wes Craven commentary or re-listened to one after Wes Craven had passed, I was just like, I don't know if I can actually sit through this and listen to his voice, knowing that Wes Craven's not around anymore. He won't be making any more movies. He won't be doing any more interviews. He won't be doing any more commentaries. It's just gone, you know. And I did the same thing with Toby Hooper when he passed away. It's still hard to listen to like those old Texas Chainsaw Massacre commentaries. And so many people from Texas Chainsaw Massacre have passed away. Um, Gunnar Hansen's passed away. Marilyn Burns has passed away. Um, Toby Hooper's gone. Um, actually,
Paul, I can't.
yeah, Paul Partain is gone. I mean, it's just like, who are we gonna have left soon? We've got Ed Neal, he's still around. Um, Jim Seedow died years and years ago. So you just don't have too many of those people left. But I'm gonna get depressed if I keep thinking about that. So I'm gonna move on to John's comment. I'm gonna try to go through these comments pretty quickly because there's a lot of comments. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I just don't want to miss anybody's comments because we're having a really good conversation here, and I ain't even got to the movies yet. Like,
currently,
so
one thing about Rob Zombie's Halloween was he used to make this. Yeah, the
oh
music,
yeah,
the score was very, very good in the Rob Zombie one.
I gotta read Dirk's comment here. Yawn of the Dead 78. Hate that slow paced, blue faced zombie piece of shit.
Damn right.
Mm. Well, Dirk, I can't hate it. That's my Romero, man. I just that one is another one that I know Uncle Bill has a lot of nostalgia for Dawn of the Dead from 78 because I think it's so cool that both me and Uncle Bill had great memories of like watching Dawn of the Dead with our dads. And I'm like, how does that even happen that, he and I are friends and we both love Dawn of the Dead and we both had great experiences growing up watching Dawn of the Dead with our dads. So I just think that is so cool. Um, and the more people you meet and the more immersed you become in horror circles, the more things like that happen. I think the more, uh, I guess, coincidence type of things happen. Red, you say, back to the Freddy subject. I think the only way a new Freddy movie would work is a prequel. They would have to show Freddy alive and the parents and Nancy's friends' parents. That would be interesting. They actually kind of Curly Jaws is saying no. Uh,
No, we all know horror prequels don't work. Name one horror prequel that was worth a fuck.
but I was going to say, I think they kind of sort of did that on a really small scale with Freddy's Nightmares.
That's a good show. I like
Texas.
that.
Oh, Curly Jaws. Do you remember the Freddy's Nightmares
That
show?
was a good show. I liked that. Like I thought it was a cool show. I remember the what was the band, the Fat Boys or whatever. They did a song cover for it, or whatever
Exactly.
that band was called. Yeah, I like that
I
show.
love that.
I don't know why. I mean, could they just bring? Like, does Freddy really need to be on the big screen? Can he bring him back to television? Like, bring back Freddy's Nightmares.
Well, see, I was talking to Steve about like anthology horror on TV, and I don't know. I don't know if that has just run its course or they don't think that people will have an interest in watching. And I'm not talking about American Horror Story and stuff like that. I didn't much care for the majority of that stuff, but I'm talking about old school stuff like Tales from the Dark Side, the Twilight Zone from the 80s, even going back to the original Twilight
I
Zone.
love the original Twilight Zone.
Yes, it's
I love the
awesome.
original Twilight Zone.
The Outer
And
Limits. Steve was actually watching Outer Limits last night on Pluto, I think. They were showing several episodes. And I was like, I know that guy on there. And Steve said, yeah, it's Robert Culp. I said, yeah, that's him. A much younger Robert Culp was on this episode of Outer Limits. Uh, let's see. TJ, you say 1,000 Corpses is watchable. I might be in the minority thinking Sherry Moon ain't a bad actor. Well, except for that Lily Munster voice she's a doing.
yeah, Sherry Moon Zombie's a great actress. Like in my opinion, she's underrated. A lot of people give her shit, but it is what it is.
Let's see. TJ, you say White Castle is great when you're drunk and or stoned. Not
Yeah,
that I
I
know
agree.
about that. Well, I would imagine a lot of things will be great when especially when you're stoned. I mean, I have never smoked weed in my life, and I've only had gummies, THC gummies once. So I don't know a lot about being stoned, but I do hear that you get really hungry. You get the
Oh,
munchies.
oh, you do like you be ordering like Little Caesars, but you'll have White Castle already here, and you're like, it works.
Right.
Dude, like chicken wings from White Castle, but Little Caesars pizza sauce is awesome.
I do like Little Caesars pizza sauce.
It's. I used to work at one. I love it.
Ah. John, you say, "Oh God, Dragon Gate, you were around some wrestling nerds for sure." I sure was, and actually, if you watch that Dragon Gate show, and I can't even remember what this particular show was called, but Steve bought the DVD. You can see us several times in the audience watching this Dragon Gate show. So that's pretty cool.
But
Which show was it? Because I probably have the DVD.
Golly, I can't even remember. I'm going to have to ask Steve and get back to you on that, Texas. Because Curly Jaw's got the Black Devil doll.
Have you seen this movie? Anybody seen Black Devil at all?
Hell yeah, that's a great movie.
I've seen
It-
parts of it. I've seen
you need
parts
to
of it.
you need to finish it. It's an amazing movie. I
Steve
wanted to buy.
actually, Steve actually has a bobblehead of that of the Black Devil doll.
That's cool. I wanted to
I
buy that poster off the CK. He can't find. He don't know what happened to it.
I love the tagline to that movie. It's a fucking puppet. You know?
Exactly.
Like, can we get that? Like, Dana, you need to put that on a shirt.
I need to put that on a shirt.
Yeah,
Well, Rotten Cotton probably already has it on a
Oh,
shirt.
I'm sure Rotten Cotton has something like that. They've got to. They have the most un-PC shirts around. But I have bought things from them in the past, though. Brandon's saying, I love the bloodbath scene in Hostel. The peep show stuff and weed is why folks go to Amsterdam. I'm sure, I'm really sure that is true. Jay, you say, I love that Dana hates Hostel, but loves I Spit on Your Grave. Okay. Hostel's not a rape revenge movie, though, Jay. I'm not saying this, and I hope I'm not saying it in a way that you say, God, Dana's weird. She's liking these rape revenge movies. Okay, here's what happens when I watch a rape revenge movie. Now, like, for instance, I Spit on Your Grave. The original I Spit on Your Grave. I feel like you have to watch all of the rape scenes the first time around just to see how utterly reprehensible what they do to this woman is. So that when you get to the revenge part, you say, that is totally justified what she did to those guys. In fact, she should have done more to them because, she did cut the guy's dick off in the bathtub. And that's a scene that Steve does not like to watch with me. And I don't know why. I guess he thinks I'm a woman that would cut his dick off. I don't know.
Oh shit, she's gonna cut my dick off. No.
But he says, we can't watch this movie too many times together. And he said, you're not to have like, you only can use plastic knives and stuff from now on. You can't have any real knives. And I got a whole kitchen full of knives, like great big butcher knives, So, anyways, let's see. Hey, 71 KJC. And they must know Texas. This must be one of either your buddies or Blissful's buddies, or
Yeah, but she's both of our friends, or we're
yes,
friends with her rather.
yes, Dark Bill Mosley. I was totally having a brain fart. That's
Yeah.
who I was talking about.
Bill Mosley as Freddy, I think, could work.
Yeah, I mean Bill Mosley. I don't know if Curly Jaws. Have you ever met Bill Mosley, Texas? Have you ever met him?
No, unfortunately not.
No, I've only met Sid Haig, and Bill Mosley was there at the convention I was at. I just didn't go up to him because I didn't want to spend another $30. So I'm like,
Gotcha.
I wish I would have met Bill Mosley. Well, I mean, I'm sure he'll be back, but he's like 70 something years old. I need to meet him sooner than later.
I did meet Bill Mosley in the last few years, and that guy was a hoot. I've told this story, but I'll tell it again real quickly here. When I met him, and I was going to get him to sign a picture of him from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And he said, okay, what quote do you want me to put on here? And I'm like, oh my gosh, there are so many great quotes in that movie, most of which are uttered by Bill Mosley. So I was like, what am I going to have him put? I was like, I have no idea. So he starts like reenacting all these quotes. And he gets to the one where he says, lick my plate, you dog dick. And I said, "You got to put that one on there. Put that one on there." And Steve was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you had him put that quote on your picture." And I
Dude,
was like, "It's great."
if I meet him, I'm gonna have him do that, like tattoo that on me. I do that.
So let's see. I don't know. Dirk had a question mark there. I don't know what that's in reference
Dark,
to.
what was your question, sir?
71 KJC says, at Texas, good. Wanted to get away from the crazy people. LOL. TJ says, Victor's with Jessica Harper. Yeah, I'd actually forgotten that. 71 KJC says, I love House of a Thousand Corpses, that whole series.
I think Texas is gone.
Oh, we lost Texas. Damn. Texas, if you can still hear me, if you need me to send you that link again, I will. Dirk, you say, to be fair, Rob Zombie didn't want to do Halloween, but money talks. Yes, I understand that. I definitely understand that.
And you know what's funny? Everybody hates the second one. I love the second one even more than the first Rob Zombie movie, Halloween.
Dirk is gonna overtake us on Lord of Salem, oh curly jaws. He says it's fucking awesome.
Lords of Salem is fucking awesome. Damn near. No, that movie's fucking awful. There's no defending that fucking piece of shit now. Get look, this is Rob Zombie's probably his second best movie. And I would say this is probably his first best movie. Lords of Salem is just fucking trash. That movie's awful.
And if old Curly Jaw says that, it must be pretty bad.
It's unwatchable. I couldn't win. It's almost as bad. It's almost as bad as Mad Men.
Yeah, something weird was going on. It sounded like a cat was pouncing on a piano. All I could hear was, and then I guess it knocked me off. I didn't know what was going on, but it was like when y'all were talking, it was just, and I was like, what the hell? And then I noticed I wasn't there, and I was like, weird. So
holy cow, the wonders of technology.
Yeah.
Dana, you think Madman's a piece of shit? I think it's a piece of shit.
Okay, I don't think Madman's a piece of shit, but I think The Burning is a lot better movie. And I said that last night too, that The Burning was a lot better movie than Madman. And I don't care what CK says.
Trying to compare The Burning to Madman is like comparing fucking dog shit to gold. It's. But I love The Burning. The Burning, I remember the first time I saw The Burning, it was on Netflix. When Netflix first came out, The Burning was on there. And I watched it, and I'm like, this movie, I saw it, I'm like, this movie's freaking awesome.
So John says, Rob Zombie's Tyrannosaurus Rex looked cool. A wrestler biker against a murderous gang or something that looked wild. Now, I'm not familiar with that one.
I remember hearing about that and being excited for it. And, it did never happen. And I was also excited, when I heard he was remaking The Blob, and then that never happened. I was pissed.
71 KJC says, I haven't seen Lords of Salem. Well, you're not missing anything, in my opinion. You're not missing anything.
You're not missing anything. Don't watch Lords of Salem. If you see it anywhere in a store, just take a shit on it. It's not worth anything. It's fucking awful.
Unless you ask Dirk, and then he'd say, "Yeah, go watch it." He thinks we're all crazy. John says it probably morphed into 31.
31's a fucking 10 times better movie.
I really wished he would have put out that. Was it She Werewolves of the SS that was in the Grindhouse movie or whatever?
I really wish he would have did. Yeah, that would have been a cool movie because that trailer he made was fucking awesome, and
Mhm.
it never went into being a full length film, which I was like, why? This would have totally worked.
Brandon says, I remember hating the American The Grudge. Now, see, not only did that happen to me kind of with The Grudge, but also with The Ring. Because I watched the Japanese version of The Ring first, and I was so, I guess, shocked by how that was filmed, how the shots were set up, and all of that. And I loved it so much, even though I had to read subtitles, that when the American version came out, I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm not a real big fan of this American version. That was one of those movies. I think all of those movies like that, The Ring, The Grudge, all that stuff like that. I think the Japanese really knew what they were doing with them. And so when the Americans got a hold of them and tried to redo them, so to speak, I just don't think they had the chops to do that. I think these are purely Japanese type films. It would almost be like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Japanese House movie with the singing watermelons and all of that. But that movie is so crazy, but it is so fun. Steve showed that to me early in our relationship, and I
Uh,
could
uh,
not imagine. I could not
wait,
imagine the Americans doing that
but
Japanese version of House.
first, okay, yesterday you're talking about these wiener dogs, rats. Now we're talking about watermelons.
Singing watermelons, yeah.
That's I gotta watch the wiener dog rat movie and the watermelons singing or whatever.
Now be careful, oh curly jaws, if you watch the Japanese House and you've got those gummies in you or something, or whatever you're taking, it might weird you out a little bit. Definitely, you feel like when you're watching that, and I watched it straight as an arrow. I wasn't drinking anything. I didn't have any other type of substances in my body other than caffeine, and it still felt like a drug trip, like somebody had slipped me LSD or something during some of those scenes. So that's why I say, if you're already got something that's affecting your brain chemicals, you might want to be careful with this movie.
These chemicals are always fucking. So yeah, I'm like,
Let's see. John says, I said this before, but if Rob had gotten the Texas Chainsaw remake in 2003 with a decent writer, it would have been a different career for him.
no, his writing is the writing. Rob Zombie's writing is part of the best part of his movies.
And 71KJC says Toby Hooper was awesome. I do agree with that. I loved me some Toby Hooper.
Yeah, he was cool, but what's that one guy who was the remake Leatherface?
Oh, I don't know. That shows you how much I like that remake.
I liked it, but the prequel was dog shit.
Hey, Robert Long's in here. He said, "Did you know that guy on Porky's, Brian Schwartz? He looks like Ralph Macchio. It could be his brother or maybe his cousin. They do resemble." I believe that is. Gosh, I just talked about this guy when I was talking about Are You in the House Alone? Scott Columby. Yeah, that I think that is the Brian Schwartz character from Porky's. I think Scott Columby was who played him, and he does kind of look like Ralph Macchio. I don't know if they're related or not, but now that you brought that up, Robert Long also says a guy that worked at the gas station on the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They never mentioned his name. Are you talking about the the guy that keeps trying to wash their van, and he keeps bringing his bucket of sudsy water over there. And then every time Jim Cedow walks away, the guy walks with him. And then Jim Cedow comes back and talks to him again. The guy drags his soapy water bucket back over there. And that happens like 2 or 3 times. They actually, if you watch the bloopers for the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's a scene where I think the guy accidentally splashes some of that soapy water on Jim Cedow at one point. So I think it kind of just goes right up in his face almost. Let's see. Robert Long, you say Freddy's Nightmares are coming on Blu-ray.
No, it's not. They canceled it.
Did they cancel it, Curly Jaws? Huh.
Yeah, they canceled it. I saw it on Facebook where they said they canceled it. And I'm like, why?
TJ says the Ouija 2 prequel was 1,000,000 times better than the first movie. I have not watched either one, so I can't really comment on those.
Okay, Ouija. I think I remember Ouija 2 being pretty cool, but like I'm talking like a major prequel to a horror franchise to any movie, and prequels fucking suck. Like, can you guys think of a prequel that was worth this shit?
Not offhand. Texas, can you?
Oh boy. No, not really.
Yeah, I think that's the consensus, at least with us three live on the stream, that these prequels suck.
Yeah, actually, okay. Final Destination 5 was pretty awesome, but other than that, that's the only good prequel I can think of.
Robert Long says the 1985 episode of Twilight Zone, The Shadow Man, boy, that creeped me out when I was a kid, that episode. That is a good episode, but I could go on and on about great episodes of Twilight Zone from the 80s.
That could be a whole show.
I actually did a show kind of like that early on, but that was before I had, 350 something subscribers. So maybe I need to revisit that again. Maybe there'll be more people to
New
watch.
Year's, I like how they do it. Like every New Year's, they'll show the old episodes, like leading up to New Year's Eve or whatever.
Exactly. I'm about to lose my voice, guys. That might be a good thing. People won't have to hear my screechy voice. Let's see. Robert Long, you say she takes care of herself. Cherry Moon Zombie does.
Cherry Moon Zombie balls.
There's her new name.
That's her stripper name.
That's right. Dirk says, I love Sherry Moon and the Toolbox Murders remake. I don't even think I even bothered watching the Toolbox Murders remake. Unless, okay, so, I talked about the original Toolbox Murders last night. Oh, Curly Jaws probably remembers me talking about that. But are you talking about the one that Toby Hooper did that had nothing to do with the original one and had the coffin baby in it? Because I guess I hate that movie so bad, even though I love Toby Hooper, but I hate that.
Yeah, that's the one. She's in the beginning and then she gets it pretty quick,
Gotcha. Robert Long says, 19 years ago in 2003, I went to see Freddy versus Jason. They started smoking weed in the theater. God, I feel so old. 19 years ago. Damn. I went to the theater with my cousin Jed. And yes, I do have a cousin named Jed, believe it or not. I grew up in the sticks, guys. So, of course, I'm going to have a cousin named Jed. I have a cousin named Jim Bob, too.
That's awesome.
Actually, his name's James Robert, but we always called him Jim Bob growing up. But so me and Jed went to see Freddy versus Jason at the theater when it came out. And I I remember I was dressed as Freddy, only I didn't have a mask or anything on. I just basically, I think, had the Freddy sweater. I had a fake Freddy glove. It was just one with plastic blades. I wasn't going to bring anything with real blades in this movie theater. And maybe had a fedora hat on, but
Yeah.
that was about it. And Jed was dressed like Jason Voorhees, so he was full on, had a, I believe he had a mask on, a full over the head mask, and he had the hockey mask on over top of that. And I thought the damn security guard in that movie theater was going to tackle Jed. He come running over there and he said, "You're going to have to take that mask off right now. I've got to see your face." So Jed had to take off all, his mask, the inner mask and the hockey mask and all that, or that cop, I guess, was going to tackle him and handcuff him right there. I don't know what was going on with that. And this was prior to all of those shootings and things like that were happening at different places. So I'm not really sure why the guy freaked out, but um, anyways, TJ says Rotten Cotton has the tee, hoodie, and poster signed. So I'm guessing he's talking about Black Devil Doll from Hell. So you can go to Rotten Cotton and get all that stuff. Robert Long likes Wolf Creek better than Hostel.
Wait, which is if I wait? Am I thinking of the right movie? Is Wolf Creek the one with the Australian dude?
Maybe. I can't remember at this point. Oh, man. But Robert Long also says, "Did you see the new movie I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu?" Yes, I did, and I'm sorry I did. Robert Long. That was an awful, awful sequel. I would much rather go back and watch Savage Vengeance. I think Savage Vengeance was what it was called, with what Steve refers to as the Conway Twitty rapist. Because there's a rapist in that looks like Conway Twitty. I kid you not. Yeah, I did not like I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. Even though, it had people returning from the original movie, some people returning from the original movie. It just did not work. And the only way I will ever watch that thing again is with the Joe Bob Briggs commentary. That is the only way I will watch it again. Let's see. Guys, I think though I'm going to try to go back to the chat, but you guys are like really tearing this chat up over here. I've never seen so many people comment. So I'm beginning to think that having people live on the stream with me is like, it's more entertaining because you got more people in here interacting and bouncing things off of each other. And CK told me this early on. He said, you need to get guests on there. You need to get other people on there because it will really, make more people want to come in there and watch these streams rather than just one solo person talking for 2 hours.
Yeah, Uncle Rad.
Uncle Rad. Where did Uncle Rad go anyway?
He's probably eating his radishes.
He's taking care of that little dog of his.
Yeah.
You should just go ahead and show the movies, Dana, so that way we can still talk and we'll just get through that real quick.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because if I'm not meaning to ignore anybody in the chat. It's just that if I don't get to these movies, it's going to be midnight and nobody's going to hear anything about the topic, the main topic of discussion. And if you guys want to, as I'm going through my 5, if you guys want to bring up some, just let me know and or just start talking, tell me to shut up. and I will be quiet and let you talk. But the first one I was going to talk about is Final Exam. And this is another one. It's not the one that I'm going to talk about that me and CK and Uncle Bill always disagree on. But this is another one that we disagree on because especially CK is really vocal about what a piece of shit he thinks Final Exam.
Which doesn't make no sense. I'm like, my dude, Final Exam is an amazing movie. Final Exam is better than that piece of shit Madman.
Yeah,
So he's gonna be.
I picked up that Final Exam on your recommendation, I think, Dana, because there was a few that I bought not too long ago. I think I did see it, but beforehand. But yeah, so I have
I
no
hope you
complaints
didn't
on that
hate
one.
it. I hope you didn't hate it,
No.
Texas.
That's the one with the fake shooting and all that, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
that that is another scene that would never get made now. I mean, they would never, ever, ever film anything like that. I would be shocked to the core if anybody ever had the balls to film something like that now. Because there is, I mean, and this is a great scene, um, in my opinion, but it wouldn't get filmed now. But there is a scene where we're on a college campus, obviously, and there's a guy that has to make an 82 on his chemistry exam, or his parents or his dad's going to stop making his car payments. He's got this really cool ass car. He doesn't want to lose that car. So he's like, I got to make this 82, but I suck at chemistry. So he comes up with this elaborate thing with his buddy Wildman to have a distraction go on during the chemistry exam so that everybody will be at the window looking out at what's going on out on the campus lawn instead of seeing what he's doing, which is he's making it look like his test has already been graded. He takes a red pen, puts an 82 up there, and casually walks up to where the papers are sitting, slides it on the bottom, walks out the door. But what is going on outside? His buddy Wildman has gotten a bunch of the fraternity guys and has set up this whole elaborate thing to look like a bunch of people are shot outside the college. And it does really look like people are being shot all over the place. Um, they must have like blood packs or something like that. And then the guys all, and we just lost old Curly Jaws, didn't we, Texas? I
Yeah,
thought
it
I
looks like it.
I thought he froze up again. So hopefully he'll be back.
My
Uh,
stream is a bit behind, so now it popped up to where it's just you and me. So
okay, gotcha. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin us, but I'm going to go on about this scene here. So the guys all have ski masks on that are pulling off this elaborate ruse, this elaborate distraction. But it turns out later that yes, it was the fraternity guys. It was a big fraternity prank. But again, I could not ever see a scene like this being filmed now. What do you think, Texas?
no, there's definitely no way. Um, I don't even think they could even do a remake of Massacre at Central High. You know,
Oh no. No. Yeah, that's another movie that seems similar or exact or whatever you want to say to that movie. Um, wouldn't get made. I even think I'll go a step further. The stuff that happens in the movie Heathers, I don't think that they
Yep.
would be able to film that stuff now. Because you've got young, like supposedly teenagers poisoning other people in their class You've got them blowing up the school at the end. I mean, it's that stuff. There is no way. It just goes to show you how, I guess, relaxed we were for the most part back in the 80s and 70s and stuff, um, as compared to now. But yeah, I don't really understand the hate for Final Exam. Um, a lot of people say they don't. It's not good because the killer has no motive. So who the hell ever said that every time you have to have a motive? I always said that that made it scarier because this guy is just driving by college, and then all of a sudden he gets the idea, hey, I'm just going to stop here and I'm going to kill a few people along the way. That sounds like a fun time. So to me, that makes it a lot scarier than somebody having some kind of ulterior motive for stopping at a specific college to kill people. And I'd like to hear what you think about that, Texas, about that aspect of it.
Um, I like it's odd, for me to. I'm kind of trying to remember because it's been, I don't know, like 6 months since I saw it. I think
Mm-hmm.
it was a while back, but I mean, to me, it was such like a typical bunch of just high school jerks, And I mean, I was pretty much glad they all died. It's like, yeah,
Right. But I'll tell you though, I liked Cecile Baghdadi's character of Courtney, the main girl that she's the final girl, essentially, I guess is what you would call her. And I also liked the character of Radish
yeah, he's cool. Yeah,
because he's the guy that had all the horror movie posters in his dorm room. Um, Albeit he was the guy that was like always freaking out because he thought that the proposed massacre was real. He called the cops and had the sheriff come out there, and the sheriff was none too happy about having to show up, only to find out it was just a prank. But I love the character of Radish. Um, I think Joel Rice, the actor, did a great job with that character. Um, and that's another thing that some people talk about they don't like is that they feel like nothing happens for a long time in this movie. And I like it. Evidently, with me, I don't want every movie to be this way, every horror movie I watch, but sometimes it's refreshing to get to know some of these characters before some of them start getting killed off. Um, and there were some jerks in this one. I mean, I laughed at Wild Man, and I thought he was, okay, but his buddy, the one that set up the whole thing so he could get his 82 on his chemistry exam, I thought that guy was an asshole.
hmm
I didn't much care for him, but Wild Man was just one of those crazy characters that, I remembered guys like that when I was younger. I can't really say per se that I went to college for any length of time. I tried college and it just wasn't for me. But we had guys like Wild Man in high school, so that would do anything, you know.
right.
So I was, familiar with guys like that. So it almost is like coming home when you sit down and you watch a movie like that and we have characters like Wild Man, like Radish, like Courtney, the more likable ones. I even like um Sherry Willis Birch's character, the blonde pretty sorority girl. Uh, I think Janet. I think Janet was her name. Um, I even liked her, even though she was a little ditzy, um, and consumed with hanging out in sororities and all of that. But I still liked the character. Um, and I believe that this movie was filmed in the North Carolina area, which I also think that Death Screams, aka House of Death, was also filmed in North Carolina, and some of the same, um, not all of the actors, but there were at least maybe a couple that show up in Final Exam that also show up in Death Screams. So I'm guessing that at one point in time, North Carolina was even, before Stephen King kind of made Wilmington famous. I think they still had a few movies in North Carolina that people still remember now. So I'm not going to go on and on about this movie. I'm going to try to keep it brief. But I do recommend this one. Unfortunately, if you get it on Blu-ray, you're probably gonna it's still gonna have an attachment to Code Red, unfortunately, even if you get the Screen Factory release. Um, but the good thing is I don't believe that there's any Bill Banana Man Olsen stuff on here. So that's the good thing. I don't think he's doing any of the commentary. I think the commentary is done by someone else. So, um, did you want to add anything about Final Exam Texas before I move on?
No, I mean, I like it. So, that's about it. I don't hate it.
Okay, so you're not in the CK Uncle Bill camp.
No, I mean, it's a decent one. I mean, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you hate Wolf Cop, so you're entitled to that. So.
Right. So the next movie now there might be a little hesitancy from people when I bring this one up, but Girls Night Out. This is the Arrow release I have, the Arrow Blu-ray that came out not very long ago. Because some people are probably going to say, "Well, I don't hate Girls Night Out." But this is one that Steve does not really care for. He finds this movie boring and a little silly. Um, with as you can see here on the cover, the killer is in a bear suit, slashing people with kitchen knives. And I can see where people would think that's kind of goofy. It's kind of hokey. But this was a movie that was originally, when I watched it, was a blind buy. I think I was on deep discount many, many moons ago. I was just looking through movies. I read about this movie. I thought, well, this is a slasher movie. I've never seen it. It doesn't cost all that much, so I'll buy it. And so when I got it in, when it got delivered, I remember watching it, although it took me a few nights to watch it because I kept falling asleep. And I didn't fall asleep because it was boring. I fell asleep because I was working through the day. And then I was trying to watch this in the evening, and I just kept getting tired. And some people are probably saying, yeah, right, Dana. It was just boring. That's why you kept falling asleep. But no, that's not what it was. And I kept waking up at the end and seeing this, what appeared to be a creepy setup of a scene. And I was like, man, I've got to stay awake to watch all this stuff leading up to it, and quit, waking up at the very end and it's like, what the hell happened? Um, so I finally finished it up on the weekend, watched it straight through, and enjoyed the heck out of it. Again, it is like a college slasher. There's a scavenger hunt going on. There's the I guess it's kind of like an urban legend story they tell about Dickie Kavanaugh, who was a pledge who um, got teased, and his girlfriend broke up with him right before the scavenger hunt years ago, and he killed her. And now her father is the security guard, played by Hal Holbrook. And Steve always laughs because Hal Holbrook is in this movie playing the security guard. He's like, "Oh, Hal Holbrook, back the security guard! Wow,
Well, remember when you talked about it before? I said, basically Hal Holbrook was slumming, in that film, you know.
And I think that's what Steve was kind of indicating with his sarcastic "wow." Um, we actually did a commentary for this a while back, and this was another one of those movies that Steve said, "I am never going to watch that movie ever again, Dana. It's the last time I watch it." And Steve has kind of lost his taste for these 80s era slashers, unfortunately. Um, I think he used to enjoy them, but now, although he still likes his Jallos, he still likes those nunsploitation movies. He just has really kind of pushed aside most of the 80s era slashers. And I still love them, as you will plainly see when I'm talking about these 5 movies tonight. So, I can't remember, Texas. Did you buy Girls' Night Out? Did you
I
end up
didn't.
watching?
I watched it on Arrow's channel.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
I am gonna. I think I am gonna purchase it at some point because I liked it enough to buy it. So yeah.
So so to you, it wasn't that hokey, or it wasn't that boring.
No, but remember I told you I figured out who the killer was like about
Yes,
halfway through the movie too.
yes, and I didn't for whatever reason. I don't know, and I'm talking about the first time I watched it, because I guess maybe because I kept falling asleep during it, or and it just things weren't gelling. Because now when I watch it now, it's like, how in the heck did I miss that? It's like kind of like for me, it's like the prom night syndrome. I didn't know who the killer was the first time I watched Prom Night, but now it feels like it's so obvious when you watch it, when the phone calls are being made and all of that. It's obvious to me who is doing it. So, anyway, we're going to move right along to the third one. And this is the movie that Uncle Bill tells me is like watching old people eat. And that is He Knows You're Alone. And Steve doesn't like this movie either. This was another one we did a commentary for a while back. I'm not really sure if CK dislikes it. I don't really hear him talk a lot about this movie, but I know Uncle Bill does not like it, and Steve does not like it. It's another one that he said that he would never watch again after we did the commentary.
Is that the Tom Hanks one?
Yes, this is the debut of Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I didn't like that one pretty much. I actually saw that in the theater, like
Wow.
in a dollar cinema, and stuff. And I was with my girlfriend at the time, and that whole fish tank thing, I couldn't stop laughing, she was
And see that
petrified.
that was the scene that I loved. Like that was one of my favorite scenes And I'm not sure who, in my opinion, did it better. If it was done better in, is it Eyes of a Stranger? Is that the one that has a fish tank head in the fish tank scene, Texas,
Could
or
could be,
okay.
but
I'm thinking it is.
I might have to do a rewatch though of He Knows You're Alone because I hadn't seen that since it had come out. So it's been a long time, but I know I just kind of laughed through it, because I just thought it was cheesy.
Right. And as I've said before with some of these, a lot of them I know they're cheesy. But some of them, it adds to me a little extra charm to it. And I'll tell you somebody else that's in this movie, and Texas will probably remember me talking about Don Scardino.
Oh yeah,
I love Don Scardino. I love that guy. And I especially love his character in this of Marvin because I traditionally over the years, I've always had an affinity for guys that are kind of sensitive, kind of nerdy, just boy next door type of stuff there. So, when I saw Don Scardino, I don't want to say I fell in love with him, but it's like, oh my gosh, he's such a sweet character. The character of Marvin is so sweet. And some guys are probably going, oh God, just don't go on about that. But with, you get Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks is not, I wouldn't really call Tom Hanks's character sweet in this, the character of Elliot, because there is a scene when they're at the carnival, and I'll see if Texas remembers this. Did you remember, like, Elliot seems to take advantage of the girl he's with? Um, like he can never pay for anything. It's like he doesn't have any money. And it's like, why would you go to a carnival with a girl and not have any money and you keep having to borrow money from her to even buy her things? Like there's
yeah.
a whole scene where he gives her or she gives him $5 and
I
he
sort of remember that, I think, but like I said, it's been decades since I've seen that.
so I've seen Tom Hanks play a lot more sensitive type of characters, but I did like the Elliot character. I thought he did a good job with it. Um, and actually, the director, Armin Mastriani, said that initially the character of Elliot was supposed to be killed off and killed off early on, and he decided that he couldn't do it. He couldn't kill Tom Hanks's character off just because he liked him so well. So basically, Tom Hanks just kind of disappears from the film, rather than him being with Amy's friend and them both getting killed,
They
which
should have they should have had him like reappear like later on in the film dressed as like his bosom buddy's character.
that would have been great. Because this was actually just before he got the Bosom Buddies gig. Um, and a lot of people think Bosom Buddies is hokey, and maybe it is, but I have great nostalgia for that show. I really do. I have the 2 or 3 seasons that it was on. It may have only been 2 seasons. I'm trying to remember if it was 2 or 3. But that show didn't last very long. But I will say this, Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari had awesome chemistry in that show. They were so funny together. And unfortunately, now Peter Scolari has passed away. So, that kind of bummed me out when I heard about that too. But I do love He Knows You're Alone. It has, I mean, some people might consider it ripping off Halloween a little bit, um, with the music and certain way some of the shots are set up and things like that. But I don't know. This is a movie that I can watch anytime, any place. Um, I enjoy it. Uh, Not my all-time favorite horror movie, but it's one, like I said, I can watch anytime. And I did want to bring up one last thing before I move on to the fourth film. Is there is a song in this called "It's the Night Again" by Alexander and Mark Peskanov. And I don't know why really. I really can't put my finger on it, but I love that song. And that is the song that's playing when Amy's friend is alone in the house. She's the one that ends up with her head in the fish tank. But she has the headphones on and she's listening to this song called "It's the Night Again." She's smoking pot, she's drinking some wine, she's relaxing. She's kind of watching the bubbles in the fish tank. And then we slowly see the killer come into view and come up behind her. And you see at the end of that scene, it's just like, like that. And then something bad's happened to her, but you don't really see what's happened until Amy returns to the house and finds her friend's head in the fish tank. But I love that song. Texas, do you recall the "It's the Night Again" song?
No, like I said, it's been decades since I've seen that. So,
And I'm sure Uncle Bill would laugh at me for liking that song. But here's one little gripe I have with this release. You see that picture on there? Why the hell is that so grainy on there? Why did they do that? And another thing is, this is one of those damn eco cases as well. So those were two things that I was really disappointed in the release. I mean, the Blu-ray of the movie actually looks good. There's no grease on this. This is like pre-greasy times for Screen Factory, anyways. But I don't know. I mean, why would you use like a really fuzzy picture, even though that's a big scene in the movie that was like on the posters and stuff? But what couldn't they find a clearer picture to use?
yeah.
It's like they really didn't give a shit about this release, really. But anyway, moving on to the fourth film. This is another one, guys, that Steve says that he never wants to watch this one again. It's another one that I got him to do a commentary for a little while back. And that is Hide and Go Shriek. And yes, that girl's face that's under the bed, she doesn't really look that bad, but in the picture on here, she looks horrible. She looks like an old granny. And I don't know why that is. Even on the VHS versions of this movie, her face looks odd. So,
I can't comment on that one because I've never seen it. So
you've
I
never
have
seen Hide and Go
no.
Shriek? This is one I remember, like a lot of these others I talk about, from my video rental days. And it was a blind rental. We have blind buys now, but this was a blind rental. I didn't really know anything about it other than what I read on the back of the VHS. The basic story is a group of teens decide to spend a night in a furniture store owned by the father of one of their group. Joining them for the ill-fated overnight adventure is a homeless ex-con security guard Isolated in a trap, they're all soon stopped by someone with a taste for cross-dressing who breaks in and begins to pick them off during a game of hide and seek. It's the ultimate game of death. Hide and Go Shriek. Now watch the slasher classic from brand new HD master. I like the movie. I like the setups. I like the kills in it. I think the killer is really creepy in this one. And of course, the ending shot, you thought the killer was dead, but it turns out he lived, of course. And as they're putting the survivors in the ambulance, we notice, oh, the killer has taken the place of the ambulance driver. He has killed the ambulance driver, and now he's driving the ambulance. And the guy breaks the fourth wall, that proverbial fourth wall, by looking right into the camera and smiling. And it is the most creepy smile I believe I've ever seen. That scene gives me cold chills every time I watch it. That is probably, even though I like the entire film, that is probably my favorite scene in the whole film, is that last shot where he looks right at the camera and smiles. Not as good as Psycho. Not as good as the end of Psycho when Norman Bates looks up into camera and smiles. But pretty damn good and pretty damn effective. So the only thing that I find fault with in this movie, and you guys are probably gonna think, God, Dana, that's small potatoes. But I asked Steve this when we did the commentary. Why would high schoolers or kids that have just graduated from high school and getting ready to go into college, why in the hell would they be playing hide and seek? I certainly was not playing hide and seek at that age. So I mean, am I totally out in left field with that, Texas? Or I mean, would you think that too?
Well, it's a movie, and they always have these 32-year-olds, that are supposed to be high schoolers. So I can
Yeah,
imagine
I
it
guess you
being like
got to
it
think
is,
about it. You got to think about it in those terms, I guess. Um, but that was really the only gripe I had with this film. Other than that, oh, Texas getting a call again.
Hey, sweetie. I'm still on the thing, so hold on.
But I'm gonna wait until Texas gets off that call before I talk about the final movie, because I'm sure he's gonna wanna.
Well, Dana, I got to kind of bow out. So thanks for having me and stuff. I
Sure,
appreciate it.
and you can return anytime, Texas, and I was glad to have you. Um, I'm going to talk about one more movie and probably get caught up on this chat, and then I'm probably going to call it a night as well.
What's the last movie you got?
The last movie is Terror on Tour.
I've never seen that one either, so I have no comment for that one either, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, feel free to watch this later on when you get time, and you can hear me talk all about Terror on Tour.
All right. Thanks again for having me. Good night, everybody.
You're welcome. Good night, Texas. So, let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and just went on and hit remove there. So now you guys just got me in this fun. So I am going to talk about real briefly about Terror on Tour, which I don't. Other than this, here's my visual. This is actually the original way that I saw Terror on Tour was on the media VHS. It looked a lot like this one. I don't think it was quite as faded. But just so you guys could have a visual. And anybody that knows me and knows the Dead Pit Boys knows that there's been a lot of back and forth between all three of us and about this movie. CK hates it. I'm pretty sure Uncle Bill hates it. Steve hates this movie. And I've seen, believe it or not, many bad reviews of this on YouTube. I'm thinking even Rambo, Matt. I think he did a rant on it. And if I'm remembering correctly, he didn't like the film either. But the movie basically concerns a band called the Clowns who like to cut up mannequins on stage and do it's kind of like low grade Alice Cooper type antics. Um, but then somebody starts killing their fans off at their shows, and of course, suspicion automatically falls on the band. Um, but I'm not going to give it away who the killer is. I would hope that some of you that have never watched it will pick this one up, um, or find a way to watch it. I believe you can watch it on YouTube. There's a pretty decent print on YouTube. Now keep in mind, if you blow it up on a big screen television, it's probably not going to look too good. But this is another one that Steve did a commentary for me. Or with me. He's done more than one commentary, and actually we did a watch along, which is pretty much the same thing as a commentary. So he's did two commentaries and a watch along for this, which I'm just astounded that I could get him to do that. So again, I would encourage you, if you've never seen Terror on Tour, don't believe all the bad press on it. You can watch it for free somewhere. So, I'm not asking you to go. I think I saw the VHS for like $200 or more. Seller was selling it on Amazon. I'm not asking you to do that. So, I'm sure that you can find it on YouTube to watch it for free. So that is where I would suggest that you do that, because I don't know if this movie's ever going to be released on DVD, Blu-ray, anything like that. And I don't know if it has to do with music rights. I mean, it couldn't have anything to do with anything else, because look at some of the stuff these other, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, places like that, even Arrow. I mean, they freaking released Microwave Massacre. So I don't think it's like they think it's so shitty that nobody will want to buy it. But I do encourage you to watch it on YouTube. Um, So now that I've reached the end of my movies, I'm going to go through y'all's chat messages here really quickly. I'm going to try to get off of here by 11 o'clock. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Brandon, you say, back to Freddie, hire Willem Dafoe and tell him to use Albert Fish and Gacy for inspiration. That would be interesting. And I see where Texas was talking about in the chat that something was going on with the audio. It sounds like a cat pouncing on a piano. Robert Long, you say, I like it when Michael Myers put that car up. Robert Long, you say, Burning is awesome. Had good atmosphere. I agree. Dirk, you say, Otis, I bet you'd stick your head in the fire if I told you could see hell. Meanwhile, you got demon hanging out your ass saying, holy moly, I got a live one. Robert Long, you say, I'm in my Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie was going to make a hockey movie. I don't know. I'm not sure what he would have done with that. TJ, you say, best and worst about Lords of Salem. They had Dee Wallace, Patricia Quinn, and Meg Foster, but they didn't get to do much in the movie. And I hate to say this about poor Meg Foster because I love her as an actress, but that poor woman was scary in that movie. I mean, it's like, what in the world? Dargy say Rob Zombie was supposed to make a movie called Sasquatch. It was going, he was going to be running around raping women and killing. Now that might have actually been entertaining. Robert Long, you say Dee Dee Wallace's husband. He was a good actor. Christopher Stone. He was. Yes. Christopher Stone unfortunately passed away. I think he had a heart attack many, many moons ago. Dare you say, Otis, who brings the Christmas candy? Who's your daddy? My asshole. I think my device must have heard me say something. Must have thought you said something to it. But anyway, sorry about that. Robert Long, you say about the crabs walking around trying to take it, little girl. TJ, you say, I saw a house 1977 at a Hearthon on 35 millimeter. It's visually nuts. Love it. Yes. Robert Long, you say, Bill Johnson was excellent in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I agree. He's no Gunnar Hansen, but he was good. John, you say Andrew Benarski was drunk as shit at Friday Night Film Fest 2021. He looked like he was 10 shots in. Dougie say, Otis, and who loves you when you're fucking dead? Robert Long, you say, he could be a good chance he would still be alive on the movie. He could be in part 2 of the Texas Chainsaw 2022 movie. TJ, you say Andrew Benarski played Leatherface in the remake, by the way. Yep. Robert Long, you say, I guess they couldn't fix the quality of Freddy on Freddy's Nightmares. Probably not, I would imagine. Brandon, you say, Chainsaw 74 introduced me to Arky Blue, very underrated country western singer. I like how his songs were background radios. Yeah, I guess that's not really my scene as far as music. I remember Steve telling me that that's the only kind of music they had back then. It was like there was no FM, there was only AM. John, you say you haven't seen Suffering till you sit through the Killjoy movies. That stuff is filmed with $5 in Kroger coupons. I know what movies you're talking about, but I don't think I've watched one of them, John. Robert Long, you say Alfred Hitchcock Presents 1980s was a good one. He used to come on NBC. Dirk, you say, yes, the Hooper one. Talking about Toolbox Murders. Yeah, I didn't like Toolbox Murders remake. John, you said the Toolbox Murders remake is not bad. It's creepy. Toby did it. Yeah, John, I mean, maybe I should go back and rewatch it. I couldn't figure out what he was trying to do with that movie. John, you say, I love creepy apartment hotel movies with a killer holed up in a hidden room or floor. Never gets old. Oh, I do agree with that. Sorry I missed so many of your guys' messages. Some of you might not even be in here now. Wes was evidently in here at 9:48 p.m. He says, oh, Curly sober tonight. I don't think he was drinking, but he probably had some of those gummies. TJ, you say, yeah, at Robert Long. Hitchcock Presents 80s version was pretty good, even though they were mostly remake episodes. There you said, I don't know, CKLOL. Robert Long, you say, also made a white dog movie that is hard to find. Dirk, you say, Wolf Creek is better. John, you say nothing, and I mean nothing is worse than Casey House. Gacy House on Tubi. I'll even join a watch along for that. Maybe we can do that at some point, John. Robert Long, you say, yeah, Wolf Creek, they made a TV series of it. CK says, we need to do a running commentary over that piece of shit. You talking about Gacy House, if you're still in here, Wes? Robert Long, he said, that Alfred Hitchcock presents, but the woman in jail she gets when she tries to escape when she gets put in a body bag with a dead inmate. Robert Long, he said, Amazing Stories was all right at good times. Yeah, I liked Amazing Stories. Well, she said, God damn, if you really think Final Exam is better than Man, you done fucked up your brain with them gummies, pal. TJ, you say Michael Myers in the first movie didn't really have a motive. Not really. Robert Long, you say, did you watch 1987 movie Open House? That's TM movie that didn't get a DVD. That should get a Blu-ray and 4K soon. I did watch Open House. The one with, didn't it have Adrian Barbeau? Ain't that Robert Long, if you're still in here? Robert Long, you said 1981 Student Bodies is going to be very interesting on 4K. Robert Long, you say, are you a fan of 1982 Pandemonium? I honestly have not watched that, Robert Long, so I cannot comment on that. Robert Long, you say, old school horror movie Mazes and Monsters with Tom Hanks. Mazes and Monsters was a strange little film. TJ, you say, Pandemonium is fun. Pee Wee Herman and Carol Kane. Gotcha. Robert Long, you say Pandemonium and Student Bodies. That's a good double feature. I actually have Jekyll and Hyde together again, or something like that, and Student Bodies double feature. TJ, you say, I like He Knows You're Alone. The suspense is good with the girl listening to the music with her headphones and the other friend hanging out of the window. The scene in the dress shop is creepy. I agree with all of those. Robert Long, you say Modern Problems was awesome. Good movie, too. Terry Chase in it. You mean Chevy Chase, Robert Long? Well, she said, how about that shitty Halloween ripoff theme? You know, there's a lot of movies that have shitty Halloween ripoff themes, though, Wes. Robert Long, you say, remember Tom Hanks was a drunk on Family Ties episode, hit Michael J. Fox on the floor. Yeah, Steve reminded me of that here in like the last maybe 3 years or so, because I went through a spell where I was buying a lot of old sitcoms box sets and watching them, and Steve was like, yeah, remember when Tom Hanks was an alcoholic on the episode? And I had forgotten until I rewatched the series. TJ, you said there's a version of It's the Night Again by the composer on YouTube. It's not the version in the movie, however. You know what, TJ? I think I ran across that at one time. Holy crap, Wes. I can't believe you're saying poor Steve. You never say poor Steve. You say Hide and Go Shriek is a gigantic turd. Well, I have to disagree with that. Robert Long, you say today is Rachel Ward's birthday and that Night School was good. I agree. Night School's a pretty decent movie. Oh, good Lord. I'm going to block that one user. It probably won't do any good. Robert Long, he said, what about the chauffeur smile on Burnt Offerings movie? Well, you know, Robert Long, it's been so long since I watched burnt offerings. I can't even remember that, unfortunately. You say Rachel Moore was a good American Australian horror queen back in the early 80s. I'd rather watch her in horror movies than the Thornbirds. I hate the Thornbirds. Uh, Wes, you said I was recommending Texas a bunch of real turds. Well, Dirk, if you're still in here, I love that emoji that you put after Terror on Tour. Yes, Wes, there are bad reviews of Terror on Tour. I know it. I get it. Still doesn't keep me from liking it. There you say, oh, I believe Dana Terror on Tour is atrocious. Uh, don't, LOL. Again, Wes is saying poor Steve. Okay. John says, I saw Ari Lehman's band Saturday night, First Jason. I only went as a favor to a friend, but it was loud and not great. Johnny said, let me just say, these 4Ks are going to bankrupt me. I'm seriously considering reevaluating how many new movies I bet past October, LOL. Brandon, you say, I've been watching a lot of old Hammer type films lately. Steve's probably going to start watching that kind of stuff here soon because that seems to be a lot of what he likes to watch. Hammer and Universal stuff, the closer it gets to Halloween. Johnny say, Hammer is good, Brandon, even just for background. And so we have reached the end of the chat because I'm not going to read 69mega.com stuff, the stuff that they put in there. It looks like we still got 12 people in here. It looks like John put the last chat message in, the last legitimate chat message in at 10:43. It is now 10:45. Yeah, just something going on with my phone. But I can stay on here a few more minutes, but probably by 11, I probably want to try to get off here because got to get some sleep. Last night I tried to sleep and Reggie got sick at his belly, and so I was up at 2:30 in the morning cleaning up his sick mess. So John, you say I was going to get Poltergeist, but do I really need Zelda yelling "Come into the light" in 4K? Well, I've got it on pre-order, John. Actually, I think they've shipped out my stuff that's supposed to get here tomorrow. I'm supposed to be getting Friday the 13th in 4K, Fatal Attraction 4K, and The Fog 4K tomorrow. And actually, Poltergeist is supposed to get here quicker than expected. It was previously expected October 5th. Now it's going to be arriving September 22nd. According to Amazon. And Lost Boys 4K is supposed to be here September 23rd. And I think Fright Night's going to get here a little bit earlier. But I also have pre-ordered Return of the Living Dead 4K, Dress to Kill 4K, The Happy Birthday to Me Blu-ray, Ghost Watch Blu-ray, Night of the Living Dead 4K, Army of Darkness 4K Steelbook, Terror at 10 Killer Blu-ray, and the Smoke and Mirrors documentary on Tom Savini. So all of those things are coming at some point. Oh, looks like Texas or Miss Tex actually ordered some stuff from my Etsy shop, which means I'm going to be getting, or maybe she favorited it. I don't know. They definitely did favorite my shop. Maybe they didn't buy anything. But anyways, um, I'm going to have to check that a little bit later. But anyway, um, John, you say, "Oh, I know that shit. Duke will be waking us up at 2 a.m., licking his damn paws or shaking ears. Then he comes downstairs and goes to sleep fine. Damn dogs." I had to give Brandon his pill a little bit earlier because he was starting to bark early in this stream, and I was afraid he was going to wake Steve up. Um, Durkee said, "Would love to see Poltergeist, the Hooper cut. Now, that would be interesting. You know, pure, like, Hooper cut would be awesome." Um, so since it's getting ever closer to 11 o'clock, I did want to remind everybody that Saturday we're going to be doing a watch along for Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, aka Night Morning. If there's anybody that wants to join me on the stream for that, please let me know. Sorry, I'm getting a cough now. And I'll be glad to add you now that I'm paying $25 a month. I can have 9 other people on the stream with me. So, you know, y'all feel free to let me know if you would be interested in doing that. So, Dirk, are you talking about Poltergeist, or are you talking about Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker? Because, oh, Curly Jaw said, "Hey, phone died." We're gonna have to take up a collection of Curly Jaws and get you a newer battery or a new phone. What do you say? Uh, Johnny say, "Yeah, I'll probably make that one." You say you should be home Saturday. Okay. So, Dirk, if you want to join in on the live stream, I'd be glad to have you. Just let me know. I mean, you can even let me know the evening of when we do it. Steve tells me that he's taking this Saturday off. So I will probably, unless he changes his mind back, I will probably plan to start the watch along at 6 p.m. Eastern time rather than 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we got that to look forward to. Coming up the first Sunday in, the first Sunday in October, we're going to be doing Don't Go in the House. And I believe that first Saturday, Curly Jaws has got me talked into doing a watch along for Maximum Overdrive. So you guys can look forward to all of that goodness. And you know, it wasn't a hard sell on a Stephen King movie. You know, you knew I was going to do a watch along for that. Dirk, you say I'll jump on. Cool. John, you say Butcher Baker is a good one. Robert Long, you say Richard Chamberlain has got to be in his late 80s now, ain't he? Probably Robert Long. I forgot I said something about the Thorn Birds. I was like, what? When were we talking about Richard Chamberlain? John, you say, "Oh my God, Maximum Overdrive. I'll be on that one." Well, you know, John, like I said, the more the merrier. Now that I've got now that I'm paying for this shit, like I said, I can get 9 other people on these streams with me. So I would love to have this whole screen filled with people. I mean, even if you're only doing audio, that's cool. We still will have a bunch of people in here. I agree that that's a killer 80s King film. Um, so guys, I'll stay on here on up until 11 o'clock. It seems like, I mean, it's showing that we've got 12 people in here, but John, you're talking in the chat. Dirk's talking in the chat. Robert Long's talking. And old Curly Jaws did jump on here to say, hey, phone died. So, um, I guess people are still watching. So I am going to cut it off though at 11 o'clock, because this gal's got to get some rest and stuff and get ready to start my day tomorrow. I'm not, I don't know what's going to happen with this paperwork that I was talking about earlier, but the doctor has filled it out. So my stomach's a little less in knots knowing that part is done. But again, the HR department might still fuck me. I don't know. Robert Long, you say, I think that's a real funny part in Maximum Overdrive. That truck driver dude wakes up in the morning, he says, what the fuck's going on? I also like when the one guy says, I hate those fucking trucks. And I always think about that when me and Steve are on the highway and there's all these big semi trucks. That's what I want to say. I hate these fucking trucks. And I literally do. I wish there was a whole different road that these semis could be on because they're just so dangerous and the drivers are so reckless. But, if anybody has truck drivers in their family or they are a truck driver, please don't take too much offense at what I say. Dirk, you say, we're doing Perfect Crime for Eurocult, right? I think so, Dirk, but like the brain fog is setting in. I'm going to have to ask Steve. John, you say, I got to run too. Good night, all. Hope your job stuff sorts out. My wife is going through some odd shit too with the job, so I get that. Oh, wow. Like, is her HR department being dicks, John? If you're still in here, I was just curious. Robert Long, you say, it's actually funny how he opens the door up. Yeah, he kind of like, doesn't he just kind of like bust it open? But we got about 5 more minutes. So if you guys want to ask me anything or comment on anything, you got, suggestions for future watch alongs, future live streams. I am trying to keep a running list of watch alongs that we could do. Oh, goodness. But I'm just like, I was taking that Terror on Tour screen off because unless I talk about Terror on Tour again, who knows, I'll put it back on there, but I'm removing it now because I probably won't need it the next one I do. I finally figured out how to get all these video clips lined up so I can just click on them at will. I wasn't sure how CK did that when he set up the stream for Steve in StreamYard, and then I figured it out tonight. Phenomenon would be a fun one, you say, Dirk. Well, buddy, let me write that down. Because these days, if I don't keep a list, I will surely forget these things. So let me add that. TJ, you say we can do an Evil Dead remake watch along. You can hate watch through it, Dave. Actually, TJ, somebody brought up Evil Dead 2013, so I do have it on my list. And I promise you guys we will do it at some point because that is the only freaking way I'm going to ever watch that movie again would be during a humorous watch along. So, has anybody got any other movies they want to suggest for possible watch alongs? I will run through the ones that we have right now. Of course, we're doing Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker this Saturday, but we also have on the list Savage Streets, Slumber Party Massacre 2, Student Bodies, Hard to Die, Bloody Bloody Bible Camp, Evil Dead Remake from 2013. We're going to do Maximum Overdrive the first Saturday in October. And I have added Phenomenon to the list as well, courtesy of Dirk. So, got a couple of minutes. Robert Long, that is an excellent idea. Home Sweet Home. I'm sure there'd be some guys that would be, maybe some gals too, that would want to be on a Home Sweet Home watch along. Durgy say, I bet you'll change your mind, Dana. Christine, yeah, we can. So what are you thinking? I'll change my mind on, like, only watching that Evil Dead remake as a watch along. Maybe, but I wouldn't bet on it. But who knows? So, guys, I think I'm going to wrap things up now. I want to, this has been a lot of fun. We've still got 10 people in here. I mean, it's not, like I say, it's not Dead Pit level, but I think it's good for me. I don't know, this time we had so many people chatting that I had a hard time keeping up with the chat, which I'm not complaining, but I do want to make sure that I include everybody. Durky do say Evil Dead Remake. You'll love it second watch. Okay. Are you going to place bets on that, Dirk? I don't want you to lose no money now. So, I think I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night. I want to thank everybody that was in the chat. I want to thank Texas and Old Curly Jaws for joining me on the stream. It was fantastic. I mean, I am getting so addicted to I was addicted to these streams anyway, because they just seem to rejuvenate me no matter what shit's going on with me, work wise or whatever. When I'm on these streams, I forget all about it because I'm really enjoying myself and enjoying the interaction with you guys. So this is really, it's almost like therapy for me. I don't know how it feels for you guys. And it's free therapy, So, but now I'm addicted to having somebody on the stream with me. That's even making it even more fun. So, I will have any of you guys on at any time that you want to be on. Okay. Now, if we get some really crazy ass in here that, acts a little weird. I mean, I'm not meaning to talk bad about anybody, but if somebody wants to get on here and then they start talking nonsense, of course I'm going to have to boot them off. And I'm not talking about we're making fun of the movies or anything, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The people that come in here and just say bullshit stuff that doesn't make any sense. That kind of stuff, I would prefer that it doesn't go on these live streams. But it basically anything else goes, so. You say trolls? You're talking about, yeah, they're trolls. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Dirk. So, with all that being said, guys, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here. Thank you guys so much. It was another fun stream. And as usual, or the past couple of weeks, we're going to be doing our third week of Argento versus Fulci. So you guys can look forward to that. And if anybody wants to join me on that one, feel free. Just let me know. So good night, TJ. Wes, you want to know what's the commentary on Saturday? The commentary on Saturday is for Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, aka Night Warning, with the batshit crazy Susan Terrell. And Dirk is echoing what I said, Butcher Baker. So, feel free to join us, Wes, if you would like, and Aaron as well. You say, oh, I may be around for that, boss. Well, you are welcome to come into these live streams anytime. You can even be live on the stream with me if you'd like. So, I am going to get off here, and I will see everybody on the flip side. You guys have a good night now.